Tyler Perry is one of the most wealthiest black directors out there, if not the wealthiest. But that doesn't mean his movies are good. What's up, y'all? In this video, I will be talking about how Tyler Perry's movies get bad reviews and why. Now, outside of Madea, Tyler Perry does try to do a lot of movies that don't include her and that are more serious, that have a little bit of comedy in there, but they're drama filled. Now, when he first started doing these movies were getting good ratings, but as he makes more and more, they get bad because they kind of have the same formula, and that's not good. His recent movies seem the same, like talking to people. They always say the movie start out strong and then it ends stupid, which is not good. So today's movie I will be analyzing is Nobody's Fool. Now, I wanted to see this movie just because Tiffany Haddish was in it. And I like Tiffany Haddish. I enjoyed her coming up. I love playing Girls Trip. But if she keep taking movie roles like a boss, her career's gonna go down the damn toilet. So this movie had so many plot twists, plot turns, extra elements to the point where I'm sitting here like, when is this movie gonna end? This movie was only 2 hours and Tyler Perry made it his job to add so much shit into it. Cause I know that every movie has a regular plot, a random side plot, and probably a little sprinkle of something else. But this movie had so much stuff. Like, it was so many ideas in this movie that he could have made a whole different movie. And these are the scores of this movie across the board. And honestly, I give this movie a 4 out of 10 too, because the movie reels you in at the beginning, and then towards the middle, you see that's when the plot comes and like the climax and stuff, and then a bunch of extra other stuff happens. So let's get into it. So this character was going to marry someone, but he bailed on her on their wedding day. Okay, realistic enough. Now it's just barista that makes her a free coffee every day when she comes in before she goes to work. And her friend's like, hey, why don't you talk to the barista? Because she's been talking to him for a year, knowing him and being friends with him. But she doesn't want to because she's also been talking to this guy on the phone for a year that she hasn't met before, that she hasn't seen in person, but she feels is her soulmate. Also, Tiffany Haddish's character is just now coming out of jail, so she's the comic relief. So she's coming to live with the sister because the mom doesn't want her at the house. Who was played by Whoopi Goldberg, and I feel like it was a wasted Whoopi Goldberg cameo, but it's okay. So Tiffany Haddish sees that her sister is talking to this guy on the phone, and she's saying, oh, he's not real because you haven't seen him. Because in the story, the girl's always asking, hey, can we video chat? Can I see you? And he's like, oh no, I don't have any Wi-Fi out here. And I call bullshit, because this movie was made in 2018. How do you just have call reception and you do not have any Wi-Fi reception? You can't go to any other place? Because I forgot what this man, because I've only watched this movie one time, and I don't remember what this man does, but I know he could have found Wi-Fi somewhere. So Tiffany Haddish takes it upon herself to call the people from Catfish. And I really think this was just this should have been just called Catfish the movie, because this is basically what they were trying to implement. Because I think this movie was part of the Paramount Players movies and the BET films. So all of those are under Viacom. So I feel like this is just an advertisement for Catfish. So they come over and tells her that, oh, he isn't real if he hasn't, really, you haven't seen him before. So this was just a premise of a Catfish episode. So they found him on Facebook and said he lives in a trailer park that was kind of close, and she didn't want to believe that. So yeah, he told her he was gonna video call her that day, and he never did because maybe he got spooked by the Catfish people. So they ended up leaving, and then of course this is affecting her work because she works at a business office. So it's kind of affecting her work, and then her friend is there too, trying to help her get on track and telling her to forget about this guy. So she actually goes to the trailer park to meet him, and then it's not really him, it's some fake guy pretending to be him, and he's in a wheelchair. And then that is a Chris Rock cameo, and I feel like that is a waste of a Chris Rock cameo. So she's depressed, and the barista guy comes over and brings her flowers to tell her he's sorry about what happened, and then she ends up fucking him. And it was just because she was sad. So after she fucked him, she told him to get out. So he did get out, and it was gonna be awkward after. So I think he came. Then she invited him back over so they can talk about it. Then they actually made love the second time, and they was actually enjoying it. So since she was upset because the guy from the phone never did call her back after that day, she started a relationship with the guy, the barista. So she was in a relationship with this guy for 3 months. Mind you, the dude from the phone, the catfish guy, never did call her back. He never did try to check on her after the catfish people came in. So after 3 months, the barista happens to not come to her job this time, but now the catfish guy is actually real, and he's a tall black man, and he comes in the building looking for her. Now, of course, she has to choose between going with the barista or going with the catfish guy, because while talking on the phone with the catfish guy for a whole year, she was saying she loves him and that's her soulmate. So the barista sees her with the guy, so she tries to call him, and she denies the call. So he comes up and says, "Hey, what the fuck is this?" And of course she has to try to lie, or now she's confused, so he kind of tells her to fuck off and he leaves. So she goes with the catfish guy because that's her quote unquote soulmate. So they get a hotel room to have sex, and it's some of the weirdest, awkwardest, craziest, something only Tyler Perry can think of to think is funny and think it's relevant. Because Tyler Perry, I know he's getting older, so he's trying to implement young stuff into the movie, and he shouldn't do that. You should just think of stuff that you think will fit and just put it in your movie. So instead of having sex, the dude dry humps the girl's thighs until he busts on himself, and yeah, he's done after that. He goes to the bathroom, pulls his pants all the way down, and washes his dick out in the sink, and then say, oh, your Uber will be here in 4 minutes. And yeah, this is the ending. And I'm sitting here like, I ain't sit here and waste 2 hours of my life watching this damn movie for you to do this shit. So yeah, the girl leaves out. She's salty because he's not the one that she expected. So she ends up going to the barista's house. So now it's raining, and she's outside knocking on the door, getting wet. And for some reason, it's this cabin he lives in. So for some reason, it's see-through, so you can see him watching TV. So he's bluntly ignoring her and doesn't want to talk to her. So she decides to go to her car and play this song that only her and him know and probably connected to, and sings the song for about 3 minutes outside in the rain while dancing. So the dude finally gets up, smiles, runs outside, kisses her, hugs her, and I guess they got back together, and that's how the movie ends. So much wrong with that. That Disney princess ass fucking ending would have not been realistic. And a lot of this stuff in his movies, like this movie, it was a different approach, I understand that, but it seemed like it was a catfish advertisement for MTV, and it also just did not seem like it was all over the place, because they added different plot points, different subplots, and then stuff wasn't realistic. Like this guy he had cell reception, but he didn't have nowhere to call her. Because I'm watching the movie and I'm just like, oh, this could be real predicament. But Tyler Perry's predicaments in his movie only targets like 5% of the world, because he could have had a homie that had Wi-Fi on his phone. He could have went, like Starbucks and McDonald's, they have free Wi-Fi. A lot of places have free Wi-Fi. He could have went anywhere and got some free Wi-Fi to video call her. And then, the movie had you thinking he was a real catfish. but he was actually a real person. And then you don't talk to this girl for 3 months, and then you finally pop up out of nowhere saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it, I couldn't call, and this and that." And then she, like a dumbass, goes off with him. Like, you really leave the barista you have an intimate relationship with for 3 months to go off with this clown. So yeah, this movie, Tyler Perry's movie, it had me interested. It had me going. Like, the movie starts off really good to the point where you're gonna sit there and watch it, and then so much was happening in this movie that when when the barista and her start having sex in the middle, I thought it was about to end. No, it was still an hour left, and I was very pissed off. So yeah, this is just one of the movies that Tyler Perry just have start off strong and just add so many elements in that it just ruins the movie for me.